So let's talk about the call of Abram. So what's the deal with Abram versus Abraham? Why do we have two different names there?
Really cool. When God chose to make that shift, it was a radical. I mean, God does these concrete things in Abraham's life to reaffirm the covenant, and changing his name is one of them. Circumcision was the other. So,
Two things changed: his name and something else got changed too.
Exactly. And so, but they were concrete reminders. It's kind of like you and I talked earlier about the stars. He could walk out every night, look at the stars, think of God's promise. After his name was changed from father, which is Abram, to Abraham, father of many, and before Isaac was born, again, just this affirmation, and so I think that every time somebody said his name, he had to be like, okay, I don't have any kids yet, but
right, it must have been sort of embarrassing, like, you're calling me father of many nations, like God has called me, but again. And then the very physical part that's involved in procreation becomes lessened. If I can be so graphic. And I would think that every time he used the bathroom, and I'm sorry, but every time he had to go number one, he's reminded of the covenant and the promise, right?
Absolutely. I mean, well, and God said, now this is a covenant in your flesh.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the actual words. And so true. I mean, absolutely. I mean, how could God give you a more graphic, crazy reminder?
Why circumcision? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but why that? Why would God pick that as a sign of the covenant?
Well, I think you hit on it. I think it is the instrument, so to speak, of our procreation. It is a significant symbol of manhood, and I think it was this marking. I think that carried on to today of this. I mean, obviously, except for Jews, it's lost most of its significance. But
because medically most people get circumcised, at least in the West. I don't know.
They have no idea that it goes back to Genesis, probably.
Right.
I don't think their doctors tell them that before they do it.
They don't wait till the 8th day and
exactly.
Pull out a flint knife and say, here you go,
and have a naming ceremony.
I remember watching. Do you remember Roots, Alex Haley in the 70s?
Yes.
I remember a scene when young Kunta Kinte is initiation into manhood, and they lined those boys up and they did a form of circumcision.
Which is
kind of interesting.
So, a mark in your flesh.
You're not going to forget this. You're a man now.
Genesis 12, the call of Abraham to Isaac's birth is 25 years. I just think, how have I ever had to wait 25 years for some significant, huge promise that God gave me? I mean,
why doesn't God change people's names anymore? What's with that?
I think it would. My first response would be that we have so much more to go on than Abraham did, and so just this book that we're reading out of, not to mention the incredible, significant, intimate change in my life that has come from following Jesus and hearing his voice, experiencing his presence, like all the time, and it's more significant sometimes than others. And sure, there's dry spells, but my sense is from reading Abraham that in these times in between, there was nothing. I mean,
he couldn't open up his Bible or go to synagogue or church and be reminded and encouraged like we can.
And nobody else. I mean, he and his family.
He was it.
I mean, I think that's part of and I know we're not going to probably get into this, but I think that was part of the huge significance of when he meets up with Melchizedek. All of a sudden, wait a minute, here's somebody else that follows the God that I follow, that knows what I'm talking about, that brings a blessing. So
you almost like need more revelation if
absolutely
you're depending on the level of exposure to,
Sure.
to darkness.
And
That
yet
you're
incredible
exposed.
faith for Abraham. And I know that's the father of faith, but it was incredible faith for him in between these appearances and visions. And, again, as I read the story this time, I was just really overwhelmed with how and why did he keep hanging on? Well, I mean, especially when he is surrounded by pagan culture that is totally contrary to this thing that he's trying to do.
It's amazing how messy the process is, and
Yeah.
how God's big solution after the flood is, hey, it's going to be okay because I'm one of the descendants of Shem. I'm going to single him out and bless the world through him. And but the blessing doesn't necessarily come very fast, or it seems like very often. But man, several thousand years, whatever, 3,000 or 4,000 years later,
Huge.
There's a lot of blessing.
Oh, hard to believe.
We have a very interesting God.
We do.
Well, let's launch into the story. So why don't you read us Genesis 12, 1 through 4, if you would.
Got it. The Lord had said to Abram, leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So Abram left, as the Lord had told him. Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran.
I noticed the way you read it, you emphasized the I part of it, or as you put earlier when we were talking, the unilateral aspect of it.
There's just growing evidence in my life anyways. I look back that even my life has been pretty unilateral in blessing, in incredible salvation in the truest sense of the word, where over and over again he has saved me.